Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to start us on the live stream. Let me just get that ready and then we'll be good to go.
Okay. I would say that we probably should, Matthew knows it starts at 4, so we'll.
Yes.
Again, whenever you're ready to put us on record, Jennifer.
Yes. Let me see if it's working.
We have a quorum with 2 missing.
No, Chuck is here.
No, with
Oh,
well,
Sashi, because
Sashi's not available.
Okay, we're all set when you're
Right, I
ready.
think it's a simple majority of the people present. I think we learned that back in the day. So simple majority is a quorum.
Okay.
Oh, well, thank you everyone for stopping your busy days and joining us in August. We don't usually have an August meeting, but under these unusual times, we figured it's a good thing to do that. So I want to call the meeting to order at whatever time it is, 4:02.
402.
So I'm sitting on my porch without a clock and not seeing any public. We will assume there's no public comments. And anyone have communications they'd like to share from the past month?
No.
No? Okay. So first item of business is a motion to approve the minutes of the July meeting. Would anyone like to make that motion?
So moved.
In a second, I think Barb made the motion and Marilyn second. Okay, great.
My phone is ringing.
They were emailed to us yesterday. Thank you for such good minutes. Sure, Rosemary.
Okay.
Does anyone have any suggestions or changes to this?
There was one thing that I noticed in the when they were talking about DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
I think the feature DVDs, the older ones, were a week, not 3 weeks before. There's a comment in there about the original before Jen's changes.
I think that was policy review, correct? Let's see.
It's under new business.
New business?
Policy review.
The middle bullet
Yep.
Uh-huh.
where it says older feature DVDs and nonfiction DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just the nonfiction DVDs that had a 3-week checkout originally, that the feature ones were a week.
If you consult the chart,
Mm-hmm.
the chart had DVD wait a minute now, what are older feature DVD, wait a minute. The question is,
No, I think older feature DVDs were 7 days. That's what we want to change. And nonfiction DVDs are 3 weeks. But we wanted to change it.
Right.
So, director has projected DVDs could have 10 days. Older would continue to have it 3. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Actually, it's confusing. Our current policy is 7 days checkout for features, and the current one is 3 weeks for nonfiction DVDs. The proposal is to change them all to 3 weeks, with the exception of new, which would be 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll modify that little piece, but we'll talk more in depth about the whole review, because I know people were confused, and we'll review that in a little bit. So I will make that
so what's the change to the minutes then? Where?
I could change them, Rosemary, because I have to post them. I've been, anytime we have a revision in this meeting, I make the change, and then I have Lisa, as said, she will post them to the original.
So I don't have to amend them?
No, I will take care of that.
I'll go with that.
The gist is the amendment's going to say something like older feature DVDs currently checked out for 7 days and nonfiction DVD currently checked out for 3 weeks will both be checked out for 3 weeks.
That's right. That's right.
Something to that. More eloquent than that, but
it's very confusing. I know. We'll fix that all together. So
okay.
Yep.
Thank you for noticing that. Is there anything else to the minutes that we need to amend or?
Under old business, the second paragraph about fines, there's some redundancy.
Mhm.
Although fees will be charged. So I don't know if you want to just cross out there will.
Hold on, just old business.
Oh,
let's
yeah,
see,
right.
review.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Yep.
Where is it?
Thank you. That's a good catch.
No.
Okay, anything else? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes of July as amended in the conversation, discussion, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so our next, where I hand it over to Jennifer for statistics, her report, and then we'll delve into new business after that. So Jennifer, if you want to.
Okay, so I did put in the packet, I put under activities, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but library board to review the statistics. But please note that the statistics are skewed by COVID-19, of course. But what you're seeing on this sheet right now under programming, you'll see that there's a word live.
Yeah.
So I am only capturing for you on this sheet the live attendees. So when somebody enters a book group that's scheduled at 6 o'clock on a Thursday, those attendees are being counted, and that's what is being posted right here. Now, we have the additional statistic of recorded programs. The difficulty with giving you specifics on that is because what we've decided to do for state reporting is if your program is scheduled to be recorded on July 18th, the state has requested us to capture 1 month of attendees who are watching the recorded version. So we wanted to be able to give the full 30 days of every program that we're recording. It's different from live because live participants are doing it right now, whereas recordings are over time, people are clicking on the YouTube channel. So in order to capture the full 30 days, if the program is recorded on July 18th, we have to go until August 18th. So we don't have numbers for each one of those recorded programs yet. We have some. And the real difference here going forward in capturing those statistics is we have a lot of people watching these recorded programs. In fact, I looked at 2 of them right before the meeting, and we had like 300 views on one of our recorded programs in a 30-day period. So I'm trying to figure out a way how to give you that because again, it could be in the middle of the month and I'm not going to give you all of July's recordings. So I'm trying to fine tune that, but I did want to give you the live versions because that's really the ones that people are showing up for that time, that date. So you have something to see there, and then I can follow up with the recordings maybe in the next month so you can get an idea of what we're looking at. Because this is new. This is newly instituted as of this past month, July. So we're in the new fiscal year. So there will be some changes, or I shouldn't even say changes, more of an update because of the way we are programming and the way our statistics are looking now. So I don't know if that makes sense. I'm happy to clarify anything if it doesn't make sense.
The 16/479 means.
So
next
that's
July,
all of our,
what?
the 16 represents all of our live programming, virtual programming.
16 is the
And then-
number of programs.
Yep. And then the number after it is that 479 reflects all of the attendees at the live events that we have online.
So of the 16 programs, there were 479 total participants.
Yes, on the live
On the live.
ones. Yes,
On the date it was advertised to be shown for the
Oh.
first.
Time.
correct.
Yeah.
So, and I can tell you a lot of those are reflective with the children's programs because we have done a number of live story times. So when our story time, let's say, was Wednesday at 10 a.m., people would click at 10 a.m. on that Wednesday, and we captured all the people that attended that day, at that time. So we tallied, we had one every week in the month of July, and that was the tally. That was the total.
But I can just take it from there, that same children's program that was shown on a specific day, that's now a recorded program.
Correct.
2 weeks from now, may, in that 30-day window, might be at it. And but
That's
you're
right.
saying a lot of people do that.
They do. They do. They may have missed it, and they have the opportunity to go back and review it. So that's why we have to have a separate category for the recorded, because you want to capture both, because you want to, I don't want to say honor the people that actually attended at that time. And then you don't want to discount the ones that are rewatching it or interested to watch it for the first time because they couldn't be there. We never, in fact, the unfortunate thing is, I think I mentioned before, is GMTV used to broadcast or tape a lot of our programs in the past. And while Sean used a lot of the statistics on our programming, we never plug that in anywhere about, you know, recorded number of times that people clicked on it after the live event. So it's very interesting because it will give us a whole new look at how people are watching our programs or participating in them for many reasons. I mean, it could be weather related, but in fact, they're still attending. It's just by a different vehicle. So it will be interesting going forward. And go ahead.
Going forward, will you distinguish between people who watch the original versus people who watch the tape, for lack of a better
Yes,
word?
absolutely. In fact, that's why I said, because we're so early in this, next month I should be able to give you more, and a different, I shouldn't say different spreadsheet, but in addition to the recorded programmings we had in July that went until the full 30 days, and then I can give you extra statistics on that, so you can kind of see.
Interesting.
Yeah, it really, like I said, it's definitely people are watching and participating after the live programming. That's been
Jennifer, I don't want to put this on you in this first month, but
no,
it
it's
would
okay.
be interesting if you could delve into the analytics a bit and see, are there certain programs that people want to, that have more popularity or interest when recorded?
No, absolutely. In fact,
And that might steer a bit on how you develop programs. And
absolutely. Well, I can tell you, and this is later on, but I can say it now, but we have broadcasted, all of our virtual programming is still going out to all of our media sources like normal. All our publicity is still the same in many respects. And it's funny because Fox 61 got our, started looking at some of what we were doing for the teen programming, the Librarians Learn and the Get Outside program. And they wanted to highlight it as, good deeds, good things that we're doing. So they highlighted us on TV, and that's good publicity. So people are paying attention, and it's reaching more than just our own little community. So who knows who else is watching these things. But I think you're right. This will definitely give us a better idea of what's being watched and how it's being watched. So going forward, I think this is a great vehicle to do that analytics, definitely. Any other questions about that programming spot?
How far back does the library of possible programs go? If I'm understanding correctly, there were 16 new ones in July. And,
Yes.
and then of the 104, that could be from any month, correct?
The previous one, so that's 104 programs we produced in July. That has nothing to do with recordings. That was on site.
Oh.
And then the 16 are only live ones. They're not even the recorded ones. Because some of them, go ahead.
Now I'm confused. I thought I understood. The 16 were live broadcast performances or programs.
That is correct.
104 were what?
The 104 is from the previous July.
Oh, okay. Previous. Oh, okay.
July
July
2019.
19,
Oh,
the Upper Four
okay,
program.
I gotcha. Okay. Okay.
So that's just to kind of show you the differences of what we're doing now as opposed to last July.
Okay.
I guess it's an interesting thing, but for COVID, not so much because, yeah, those are all in-person programs.
Those are all in
We
person.
can't have any right now. I do have to say there is a slight bit of difference. It's hard to explain even to staff, the difference between live and recorded. Some are just recorded and then we post them. Live is actually a program going on at a specific time, but recorded programs could be like, they pre-recorded the Get Outside program. So what they did was everybody went outside, they went to a location, they did the history, they videotaped, they edited it, they put it together, and when they felt it was ready to, you know, show, they'd show it. But it wasn't live. They weren't doing something at a specific time. Like, I don't know how else to, I'd have to, maybe someday we could be in person together and we can go in the studio and I can show you. It's difficult for, many people have been asking questions how to even report this to the state, just because it's so convoluted, it seems. The only advantage we have is we have GMTV. So Sean's been tracking all of this information for us too, you know, so we have something to go against. And
Do the pre-recorded programs show up here, or are these only live?
These are only the live ones.
Okay.
That's right.
And like I said, next month you'll get live and pre-recorded. We
Okay.
just didn't have enough data for you this month for the
Well, and then-
pre-recorded views.
Then once a live broadcast is over, it transitions to be a recorded broadcast,
Yes,
and it can be reviewed later on. That was
That's
one of the
correct.
differences you were speaking to. Yeah.
that is correct. The pre-recorded is just that. Pre-recorded, they weren't live to begin with. They were just standalone programs that we wanted to air at a different time. So
Well, how far back does it go then? Let's say, can you see a program from 2018? How far back in your archives can somebody access a program?
So two things happening here. All the stuff COVID now is being tracked. Prior to this, only GMTV has been tracking that. We never had to really use it.
I just
So
mean how far back
he
could you
uses-
find one?
Sure. So you can go back and see most of our programs that have been recorded by Sean back to, geez, I don't even know how long his archive is, but pretty far back before the Submarine Century, Jim Streeter's programs, and they're still getting high views, believe it or not. And it's just interesting to capture that over time, because what's popular, you know, in 2013 may not be popular in 2015, but it could start getting hits because it went viral for some reason, and they could have 1,000 hits this month over something that, you know, was used in 2013.
Okay, thank you.
So, but he can track that with his Google Analytics. He's been doing so. And he's gotten a lot of subscribers because of it. We have all the meetings now online. We never had this many meetings either. So, but yeah, definitely something we have to, you know, change our thinking caps on how to use the data better, because we have so much of it now.
Kizzy, for just a second, it looks like Matthew's been trying to communicate. I don't know. I don't just want if you see him, Jennifer, you need to let him in or something.
Hold on one second. Matthew?
So far,
Hello?
he's only been able to chat.
Yeah, he can only
He
hear and
sees-
see us. He can't.
You know what, and I apologize, I didn't even have the chat open. Okay.
He's on mute right now, so we need to unmute him.
Oh, see what I'm saying? This thing is, here we go.
Oh, it just went mute again. Okay, there you go.
Well, there was no mute and video thing before, so I don't know.
Matthew, I was telling the group that for
I've been listening
some,
for the last, I've been listening for almost the whole time.
Oh, good, great.
for some people, you just automatically become a panelist, and for some you don't. And I will try to see what is the deal with that. But anyway, glad you're here.
Any other questions or statistics that you want to bring to us, or any questions this board has of Jennifer on other items?
I was a little curious about interlibrary loans, that they've gone up so much, especially the items alone.
Yes, we've been loaning things on a very regular basis. I think I told you at one point, we have a very, very large and good collection, and people don't have, sometimes the means to use them. So it's a really good thing to loan materials, because what that means is it's that whole reciprocal borrow it program, that the more you loan, the better, well, we always hope, the more money we will receive the following year from the state. So hopefully, yes, it is going up. People have wanted items. I do want to also know.
People are homebound?
I think so, absolutely. And we are still one of the few that are open. A lot of libraries are still not open. I can tell you Stonington is not open, Old Lyme, Norwich just came on a little while ago. So we've had a lot of people, a lot of libraries that are still closed. So people are using us.
And yet the circulation statistics are down.
Mhm.
The circulation numbers are down, but the interlibrary loan is up.
Is up. So kind of meaning that the items people are requesting maybe, that's a good question, but some of the stuff we're loaning, when you're talking interlibrary loans, it's not the items that are going to Waterford or Bill or Mystic. They're going to different libraries throughout the state. And some libraries are not open, but they're receiving interlibrary loans. So they're doing curbside.
I wondered,
Go ahead.
I wondered too about those circulation statistics, because they're so much lower than in previous years. I'm just wondering if maybe we should think about a little more publicity, because people may not realize how easy it is to get books, even if you're nervous about going into buildings.
That's a good point. That's
And
really good.
people may not be quite aware that we're open when these other ones aren't. Because I don't see why circulation would drop so much when people have more time to read now.
Well, I can tell you there is two big reasons that we're dealing with. One, we're at approximately half of our opening hours. So there's one thing. Not that that's a huge thing, but half our hours. So we had 30,000 checkouts in July last year, and now we have about 17,000. It's about half. The other thing that's interesting is we were ordering on a pretty regular basis. We still are. We're still ordering like normal. Shipments have been coming in slow, and a lot of things people had on reserve, and so they're out. People want to take them out. Like, I don't know if you've been in the library recently, but a lot of our new book section is kind of sparse.
Yeah.
And the only reason why it's sparse is because all those items were checked out, and people have, some holds. Actually, there's a lot of holds. So I think as time wears on, we'll see that number grow more, just because the things that they want are not being able to check out. And people are also using our digital services much more. I mean, you can kind of see that a little bit reflected in the statistics there. We've almost doubled with our ebooks.
Is there an issue too with, is there an issue with people who maybe had like a real popular book checked out at the beginning of the virus and they haven't brought it back? And so
Yes.
that's clogging things up?
It certainly is for a number of reasons. They either can't attend, they don't want to come in. I can tell you that the children's books too, it's very quiet in the children's room. I think a lot of parents didn't want to bring their kids in because they can't play, they can't do other things. They have to get books and leave, basically.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, to your question, yes, that is very
So
true.
items aren't turning over.
That's right. And of course, we're waiving our fines right now just because we didn't think it was properly fair that, we're closed, you don't know what's going on. There's a delay with the quarantine. That's another thing. Items that people want are being held in our quarantine room for 3 days. So the turnaround time's not as fast. So we have a couple reasons why there's like some delays. This doesn't alarm me too much because it's July and some people still don't even know we're open. We're trying to really get that word out. They just assume that we're closed.
So question, in terms
Sure.
of opening, would it be worth taking out a small ad in the weekly Groton newspaper to just pay the $40 or $60 to say we're open?
Actually, you know what I think would be even better is we can make, we have a very good relationship with one of the day, a couple of the day reporters who came to us in the beginning to, write about what we were doing. We could probably have them come back in and just kind of escort them around and see what's available.
Yeah.
I think that'd
Facebook
be a
ads
great-
Facebook ads are dirt cheap too. Facebook is dirt cheap to just post something. Yeah, and I don't know what they are now, but as of like 2 years ago, they were $5 to reach like 25,000 people.
I know, I was wondering about that. Emily, who's in charge of our Facebook, we've discussed that on and off, and we just haven't bit the bullet to do something, but that might be probably a really good idea to use a Facebook ad,
There's
They're really
another,
cheap and you can target the audience really easily.
And Matthew, I like the paper too.
another
it's really, go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Another marketing strategy would be to contact the radio stations and ask them if they'd like to do a remote broadcast from here. That would give them a chance to find a sponsor so they get some revenue, and you don't have to even bother with that. Just ask them if they can find a sponsor to support a remote broadcast and have several different stations do it. It's our 1 hour at the Groton Library, and they would interview Groton Library people and maybe some patrons.
Yeah, that would be.
Or they could say no.
Especially if they could do something like that outside,
Yeah.
that's.
Mm-hmm.
And when do the tax bills go out? I should know that, but are
They
they
did.
out already?
I thought they were July, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gone.
Oh, well.
I was wondering not about ads, but about getting books back. You said you still have people, if people are reluctant to come in the building and now that's the only way you can return a book. I wondered if you could have like a drive-by Saturday or something where you had all kinds, just bins outside, and people could just drive by and put the bins in and,
Well, it's really easy to return the books because the bin is real close to the door.
You have to go get it.
And you guys have done some really great videos. So you could do a little video saying, bring your stuff back. It's really easy, and have somebody wearing a mask and carry the books in and drop them in the bin. And, I mean, you walk, maybe 8 steps into the building and put your books in and turn around and come back. I mean, I took some books back today and I didn't run into anybody.
Well, I admit it's easy, but if you're reluctant to go into a building,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you might not even want to do the 8 steps. I don't know.
2 things to that, Rosemary. Actually, we just discussed that yesterday. I know people have been asking the town manager about when the book drop is going to be open. And like I had told him, just one particular issue of why we haven't yet is because of the way we've been quarantining and the amount of things that we are getting back. It's almost too much of a load. Like for example, Monday, we have 2 monstrous bins that we exchange out from the book bin, from the book drop outside. And on a Monday, we have 2 bins completely filled and 2 small bins. And, you know, going out, it's not a matter of going outside to do it. It's just, what are we going to put in the book drop when we don't have any bins left? So that's really been the issue. But to answer your question, something later that I was going to talk about, but I can say it now. We are planning on opening the book drop very soon, because we were just waiting to get to a point where it wasn't so overwhelming. And we believe that after Labor Day, that's the target date we have of September 8th, where we're going to open the book drop. And we're just going to have to go out regularly. But we think, you know, summer's a big time where we do usually get stuff back anyway. So people going back to school and whatnot, we're hoping that will, you know, delay some of the crazy amounts of books coming back. I mean, we want the books back, but again, we have to quarantine them and whatnot. But so September 8th is when we're looking at having that. And also September 19th, we're going to go to full day Saturdays. We're going to expand our hours on Saturdays. So, you know, we can also pull out books at that time as well from the book drop. So they don't-
Guys,
If you
put a
were,
suggestion on the floor that if around the time you open the book drop, we also think about reinstating fines. We make it
Well,
available for
we talked about
that's more to get
around,
the book
yeah.
back than it is to make money for the library. I think it's, you know, with some people without a penalty.
Right. We want to give them a little time. We also conferred about October 1 is where we were looking to begin the fines again.
Okay.
Because we want to tell people, guess what?
Right.
Book
Right.
drop is back. So
Yeah.
not to say the excuse was there, but you know, we're adding another feature for you to conveniently bring things back, contactless. And
Mhm.
by
Yeah,
week
that's-
3, you know,
Yeah.
3 weeks they have for a book, they should know at that time that
Yep. No, that's good. I like that. That's
So-
good.
so
kind of
if-
do these in like little phases, but yeah, so you know, regarding the book drop, it is a coming.
Okay. And thank you for bringing that normalcy back to us. I mean, all those little normal things in the
Yes.
long run make us, I mean, it just makes me feel better.
Well, there's so many
Like,
things you
going
don't
on.
realize what people rely on, you know, that's
Mhm.
really the thing.
if you were to stipulate that, for argument's sake, that the fines will recommence on October 1st, then perhaps, I'm just picking that date at random, then no dog in that fight, to have a 2-day period beforehand, or doing radio PSAs. We can record 15 or 30-second PSAs. Fines begin on October 1st. Please bring in the books that you've been keeping during quarantine. And in terms of extra bins, I can't think of the name of the business, right to the left of TJ Maxx. It's a disc, they sell used clothes, etc.
Goodwill.
Goodwill.
Goodwill. They have tons of rolling carts in the back. I don't know if they would lend any to us for 48 hours, but it's certainly worth if we're going to do an intense period, ask them if we can borrow 3 or 4 carts for 2 days.
We could. The problem though with their bins, because I go there regularly. They're wide and they're short. And see, our bins fit almost completely proper into the bin. And what happens is when people dump the books in, sometimes they get damaged. If they were too short, they would fall over, and you know that's the whole point is the damage.
I wasn't clear enough. So we
Sure.
have full bin. We don't have enough bins to do it. So we roll out this bin, we empty that bin into the rolling cart, stick
I
the
see what
rolling
you're
cart
saying.
into a room
Okay.
until we have space for the, maybe they can age 3 days in the cart. I don't know. You see if they'd even loan them to us. They might not.
Yeah, true. That is very true. It's a good idea. I mean, we've only got, what, 2 weeks until September? So, you know, it may not be, it could be an avenue we could look at. But they do plan on going every 2 hours outside to the bin to make sure it's not overflowing. And it is on wheels, so we would roll it in And then we would have somebody with their gloves take them out and put them on the tables and wheel the empty bin back into the book drop. So I will let the team know, especially our circ supervisor, maybe if she's interested, she can look at that. She's been really good at having processes, you know, change on the dime these days, but she's got a good system going.
What percentage of the are we missing? How is it 30% of your material? How much is missing?
We haven't done a recent one, which I actually just tasked one of our librarians to do this week. The last time we checked, I think I told you, was 10,000 materials, but I'm quite sure it's less than that. I would assume it was half that, but given the fact that people are still checking things out, yeah, maybe a little higher than that. But I could send you the update on that as soon as she gets me the stats on what's out. We're interested to know too what areas, if it's fiction, new, or children's, or whatever. It'd be, you know, she can kind of get those percentages too.
Mhm. Okay, I think we've kind of morphed from statistics to director's report, but
I have one more question about the
Yes.
statistics.
Yep.
It looks like the materials added are about half of what they were last year. Is there a reason?
Yes. I'm actually glad you brought that up, because when I saw children's print, I thought it was a typo. It was like 5. But two things, like I told you, we have not stopped ordering. However, shipping has been delayed. And because it was towards the end of the fiscal year as well, that was an additional problem. Because when we get close to the end of the year, I'd say around June 1st, we stop our orders to, you know, allow the billing process to keep up at the end of the fiscal year. We have to have all our bills in, and they have to be paid for the new fiscal year. But they are slowly trickling in. So there's been a slight delay with the shipping. So that's why it's slower. Next month, you should see it higher. So yeah, I also was worried about that, but that's what they told me in tech services. So shipments are coming.
all right. Anything else on statistics? And Jennifer, you list, then you have your activities
Yes.
report, however you want to.
Yeah, some of these are just, you know, rather quick. Print management that I've been talking about for the last 4 months. We finally purchased a new print management system. So it's going to be installed in September. What that means is our wireless printing is going to be reinstated. We'll have a new printer, a new system. It'll follow the same way it has always followed, with the one kiosk where you obtain your prints. The coin box should be the same. You know, it'll be an upgrade, but it'll be the same. And so hopefully that'll be great, because the wireless printing it's been terrible not to have that. Because people come in with their devices and want to, you know, print direct from their mobile device. And it's, we've just had a problem with our last company. They just stopped working altogether. So now this will be installed and hopefully get people back on track. Children's First is a nonprofit group that focuses on children in Groton, and they have requested an area for some office hours. It just so happens that where we had local history processing happen, we've converted that office into an area where some community groups can meet. We are going to be moving the community police officer in there on her once-a-week visits, and Children's First will have some secretarial work that they'll do in that office as well. We're happy to partner with them. They've been very good to us. We support them, they support us, and they meet in the library every Tuesday. Not since COVID, but they pretty much already have office hours at our library anyway, so it seems like a natural collaboration. That should be coming soon. We installed new story walk, a new story walk installation at the library. We've had a couple little snags with that because of the storm yesterday. I knocked a couple down, but they're really, they came out really nice. If you remember, we had a submarine book last time, and we replaced it with all new equipment and new books. We're going to recycle them out. So there'll be something enjoyable for people to do outside, not only just during COVID, but it's a good opportunity for kids and families to get together and walk and be able to read a book along the library path. So pretty excited about that.
Where does that start? Where does the path start?
So we started it right where the crosswalk, when you pull into the library, right to the left, there's a sidewalk. If you go past the senior center, you went too far. There's a crosswalk right when you pull into the library. You'll see it if you look to the left.
Okay, by the electronic.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
By the electronic sign.
Yes, it's a little behind. It's behind that. There's a sidewalk, and it goes all the way to the library.
Okay. With you.
So we took them down yesterday because of the storm, but they're going to go back up within the next couple days because we had to fix one of them. But we've got something a little more stable. We're going to put some stakes in the ground for them to stay proper. But it's really cute. They did the children's department did a nice job on them. So, our back garden area, I've asked the Trillium Garden Club to come and take a look at our back garden area. We took out a couple trees, cleaned it up. It was looking really messy. And we really want to explore the option of down the road to continue to hold programs back there and make it a nice environment for people to sit outside and enjoy the weather, read a book. So we're going to clean it up. And I asked Trillium Garden Club to give me some recommendations on plantings and weeding and just general assistance. And they've been really great. They're going to be pulling together some recommendations and giving that to me soon. So pretty happy about that. Our fire alarm system, our fire alarm panel was new about 2 years ago. And it caused so many problems because it didn't work properly with the wiring and the sensors in our building. So Council and RTM had approved last year for this coming budget to install the new system. So everything can talk just wonderfully together. So that is going to be implemented within the next month. So we're going to see a lot of building people come in and assist with that and put that panel and system to work together. And then I told you about the Fox 61 Share the Love segment. They really loved our programs. And one other word about programming. Tomorrow, we're having a genealogy program. It's French Canadian genealogy, and I'm telling you about it because we already have about 40 people registered for this program. So if you're interested on French genealogy, French Canadian, I should say, definitely join the program tomorrow. It's, I believe, at 3 o'clock. But yeah, popular program. Looks like genealogy is the way to go.
The Fox 61, that was highlighting teen programming. Was that correct?
It actually, they saw the Library and Learn program, which is geared towards teens, but anybody can obviously enjoy it. And then they noticed some other programs that we did. So we created a montage of everything and sent it to them, and they published it. And you can see that on their YouTube channel, Sharing the Love. Any questions?
Hey, that's
Right,
Jen,
new business?
Jen, you know,
Yes.
I have to go. Could I get a minute now? Would that be okay?
Of course.
Okay, so I'm going to change topics completely, guys. I've spoken recently to Conrad Heed, and I'm going to be speaking on the first Tuesday at Town Council, but I wanted to give you a heads up because I think it's an opportunity for the library to raise a lot of money for our town. We are currently in our census are at 70% for the town and city of Groton. Well, for the town of Groton, including all the municipalities. 40,000 population, that leaves 12,000 not yet censused. For each person who is censused, our town will get an average of $2,900 a year times 10 years. That works out to $348 million that we have the potential of getting that we're not yet signed up to get. So
Wow.
what I'm going to be, or it's just a phenomenal amount, or 34,800,000 per year for those 12,000. It's a lot of beans. So I am making a proposal to the town council about something they can do that could boost this by 3 or 4%. Certainly, we're not going to get everybody. But I was wondering, Jen, if it's feasible when somebody comes into the library and goes to the desk or any desk, they're asked, are you a Groton resident? Have you done your census? There are 3 answers. Yes, I have. Thank you. No, I haven't, and I don't want any part of it. Thank you. Or no, I haven't gotten around to it. And if the answer is no, I haven't gotten around to it, take your handheld computer or go to a computer and get them to register right then and there. We're not going to get hundreds and thousands, but if we get 100 people, that's $2,900 times 100, or 29,000 for over 10 years times 100. We can make a significant difference. And if our library not only helps the town in that way, it won't give the library a black eye to be able to go to the town next year at budget time and say, oh, by the way, through our efforts, we raised. So that's my idea. I need to visit somebody in the hospital, so I'm going to sign off right now.
Sure.
It may be a great idea that you don't want to do and don't have the means to do it, but at least I've mentioned it, and whatever you guys do, I support.
Matthew, I'll be in touch on that. I'll be in touch. Okay.
Thanks a lot. I've got to go. Have a blessed day.
Thanks,
everybody.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Do you want me to continue?
Let's continue with new business, and then we'll talk more about census and
Yeah.
under.
Yes, because I want to, his sentiments are good.
Yeah.
I already gave you the information for update on potential next steps. September 8th, the book drop, the 19th, full day Saturdays, and October 1st, fines. The other 2 items that we're looking at is possibly adding another wireless carol or station so people can do some work, and possibly another computer station. One request I've gotten quite often is I do need to keep using a computer. I don't have one at home. It's just due to social distancing, it's been a little problematic, even though we have a lot of space. And plus with the network ports, we do have the quiet study, but it's filled with all the furniture that we had to push away. So we're really going to try to put at least one more out in the next month or so. We just got to find a right spot for it. Little bit at a time is kind of what we're going with, because we don't know what's coming in the next day or week or month. So I just tell patrons that unfortunately the new norm, we have to keep following governor's orders. We are following the Reopen Connecticut, we are certified as a nonprofit business that has to adhere to certain guidelines. So we're going to continue doing what we're doing and adding little bits at a time. So that's what
Jen?
we do. Yes,
Jen, and that's using existing equipment.
correct.
Okay.
Mhm. Yes,
All right.
yes. And of course, we're gonna continue virtual programming as well. We're not gonna have in-person ones just yet.
Jennifer, do you, and I hope my crystal ball is wrong, but even with the hybrid of schools returning, that could change, tomorrow, who knows? But I think something that is a given, there's going to be a lot of virtual learning.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And of course, one of the tragedies of the spring was that so many homes were challenged with not having appropriate bandwidth, technology. Are you in communication all with the Groton schools, or do they see you as the library as a, and guys, I don't want you to be inundated when school starts because there's so many other children might light up with parents who can't get their children online at home. I guess what do you anticipate?
Sort of what's happening, we have been in touch with the schools. We have been discussing options for support. One thing that I do know, the schools have deployed the computers. They have deployed hotspots to families that do not have wireless access. And the other things we have connected with the school about have been, what are your anticipated needs? I know it may be too early, but what are some anticipated needs that we can help support you with? And I just had a conversation with Jessa, our teen librarian today, and she's in contact with the high school, the school media specialists. And basically what they're saying is digital, like ebooks, like those digital products, they don't either have the access right away to them through their own budgets, or the money hasn't been allocated yet, or, you're turning around and saying you need something that costs quite a bit of money. For an administration, you have to put through all the, RFPs and everything. So who knows how long that's going to take. But we assured them that we've been looking at products that can maybe support that. We are going to get library cards to all the kids so they can access what we have now on Overdrive. We're going to be in a two-way conversation with them going forward about having them be able to provide us with their curriculum, because I can't imagine that everybody's going to be able to go to their library media specialist and be able to go and hang out at the library and pick out books. So we're offering those services and support means right now. And as our conversation develops, we can figure out other ways together, or just offer, think about things that they could need that we can offer to help support not only the children, the families, and teachers, because we know it's going to be difficult. And so that's where we're at right this second. And as school progresses, we're just going to have to, that's what I said, our next programming meeting, or staff meeting, I should say, we're going to brainstorm some ways of what do we see the next 3 months look like, so we can help support not just the schools, but other students, college students, whoever it may be. How can we continue to help and be of support and be active as a library if we can't have every single person enter the building? How can we help? So that's what we're, our different hats, what we're doing right now. So.
Good. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, the school is the looming issue right now for everyone. Because the other thing is too, is those kids that are not going to school, or even the real young ones, the daycare, everything's limited, and it's tough. It's tough for every single person. Grandparents can't even really help too much because you got to worry about COVID, what you're going to catch. So we're trying to think outside the box right now and consider these opportunities rather than problems. So. What else? I Have a Dream 2020 event. I don't know if you've seen it. I was just speaking with somebody today how it's nowhere on any website really. Very important. Our diversity, equity, and inclusion committee of the town is putting this wonderful program together to honor the 58th anniversary of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. And it's going to be an outside event in the back, in our back garden area. And we're going to have some counselors speak and some communities, some students speak, but it's by registration because they can only have so many people. Right now, if you go to our calendar of events, it's listed in the August 28th date. You can click on there and register through Parks and Rec, but the link is there, or you can just go direct to Parks and Rec. So just wanted to highlight that. And then, believe it or not, I have some really interesting news. Roz Rubenstein, from the director at Waterford Public Library, is retiring in
Oh,
November. And I was just told that Karen Wall from Mystic and Nolwank is also going to be leaving in November.
Oh, no. How long
Wow.
has she been there?
No,
She's only
I'd
been
say a year, maybe a year and a half.
What
Could have
is
been
wrong
longer
with
than
you?
that.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years.
A lot of revolving doors around here.
Yeah, so I'm happy for them that they're looking, going on and moving along. But I'm gonna miss them. We've really created a nice,
Good team.
yeah, absolutely. So but I wish them the best. So we are going to be signing a contract for Cersei with those ladies and Wendy in September. So at least our ILS system for the library will be, confirmed
You're
before they
staying
leave.
with, you're staying with Cersei. Did you get a reasonable rate? Were you able to renegotiate?
Absolutely. Yes,
Good.
we were able to do so. And what I can tell you is we did look around. We did do our due diligence by going through the presentations and, to look at other software and consortias, and they were astronomical. I'm not going to lie, and just not feasible at that time. So that's what we're doing. I guess old business. Wanted to mention the census. Matthew is totally correct. We're just below 70%, but we're over that of 2010. So that's the good news. Considering we're during COVID, people are participating, and I think it is due to the online, questionnaires. It takes 2 seconds. And to Matthew's conversation too, is the Shredded Day event went very well, August 8th, and we had the census people there, and they approached every single car, and they got about a 10% return rate. So they did sign some people up, and we've been supporting them. And I thank Marie for giving me the office manager over at Groton Long Point. I've distributed flyers. Apparently there was an event at Groton Long Point. And so that was our lowest in the whole Groton region, was Groton Long Point, because of the seasonal people. But we're going to continue highlighting it, and the library definitely still talks about it. All our people were educated on the census, so we are encouraging people, and there are people who have been using the library to do their census. So that's a good thing.
I went over to GLP to, ask the question about the seasonal, and this flyer, which I sent to Jennifer, it's really something I really kind of dismissed, but anyone who owns a second home, they're encouraging you to take the census again. And the instructions are very simple. You put down 0 in terms of people living in the home. But now that home is going to be counted for the state's revenue, from the federal revenue. So communities that are, a lot of seasonal homes, if they're not included as separate entities in the census, that property does not, the state does not benefit from that property's potential funding.
No, it definitely does. And I think what people don't realize, it's really not by the people. It's when they're looking at who's reporting. That's the word. You need to report, even if it's seasonal, because they're looking at the tracks in each area, the developments, the buildings. So when you're saying, I recognize that I'm this building, but I have 0 people living here, you're reporting something. So there's a difference where you're reporting, your regular home, you're saying who lives there. But you're still identifying the property, that you own that property. That's why it's important to still report, no matter if it's 0 or 10 people living in the house. And it is true, $2,900 per person for 10 years. Yes, that is definitely accurate. It's pretty amazing. pretty amazing. So, questions, concerns, issues? And we didn't talk about the policy review, but anything else? No? So the policy review, I don't have to at long length, just I think the confusion was from looking at everything that people said, it appears that people seem okay with books being renewed 2 times and DVDs being renewed once, not 2 times. Is that correct? Does that make sense? So again, yeah, okay. Books renewed twice, DVDs renewed just once. That's what I got from all the emails from you. It
Yeah.
seems like the consensus was pretty good.
How long would the DVDs renew for?
3 weeks.
So you could have
For
something.
the older stuff, not including new.
Okay. So you could have an older DVD for 6 weeks and a newer one for 20 days?
Yes. Yes. Actually, the new ones would not be able to, the new ones are just, they're like new.
Oh,
You can't,
okay.
and I can define that, new DVDs, 10-day. How about, would this be easier? All of I had planned to like go through them all and see thoughts. Maybe I should revise and clean up the document as to what the consensus was. And then you can review that. Would that be easier? Because it is confusing. And then we can decide from there.
Yeah.
Because again, there's no rush to this. It was more of an observation of people, over time saying, it'd be really great. I only have, I have this 6-item DVD pack, the TV show, and I only have 7 days to watch it. It can be rather difficult. That's where that thought process came from. And we have a lot of TV shows on DVD, and those are our most popular item. So giving them an extra so many days seemed prudent. So that's where that came from. And the books sometimes, they're large, and sometimes it can be difficult. I can certainly rewrite this and revise this, so it'd be easier to look at.
Jen,
Yes.
in terms of being able to renew a book twice, currently when you renew a book, the little note comes on that says you can't do this anymore. You've reached your limit. So that will be a systemic change, because is that something you can change?
Well, we're going to check with Cersei. It appears you can. You mean through all the libraries be able to do that?
Well, yeah.
I know that there's a lot of things that you can do singularly. It just makes it a little more convoluted. But
you won't get, when we renew GPL books, we won't get that note that says you've maxed it out.
That's correct. It'll automatically update it, especially if you're at home and you want to renew it, it'll allow you to do it. So it won't block you. I will let you know too on that sheet if we have been talking to Bill and Mystic especially about some of the changes we want to, we were thinking about, and they said to keep them in the loop because they may want to do similar things. So we're trying to get more of a consensus if we can on things, just to make it easier for customers. Okay, so I will rewrite that and send it out. I feel like there was something else I wanted to tell you, but I'm still with my colleagues leaving. That was the big news this week. So, yeah.
Where are Karen and Roz going?
Roz is retiring, and Karen, I don't know as of yet. She didn't have another employment where she was going. She just said she was resigning. So, and Catherine, there was just one quick thing I meant to, Sashi's not with us right now, but she had talked about placing hold print materials, the notification, like the ebooks, like it'll tell you, you know, approximate wait time when you're going to get the item. And I know, Catherine, you said that would be really interesting. However, with books, it's a little different. Books can come back whenever they feel like it because we have to worry for the person to actually bring it back. Whereas with ebooks, you can know what level you're at because it automatically takes the book from you. Your due date is your due date, and that's it.
What I was really thinking about was if you put a hold on a book just to know how many people are on the hold list before you.
Well, I will tell you that is possible. However, we always refrain from doing so because we've had many people get fly off the handle when they're told that they're number 4 and, you know, something happens because we've got system-wide holds. Something could happen with that hold where you're not actually number 4. Could be a variety of things. Could be a damaged book. It could be, you know, it never came back. And people get really angry. And it's been a long-standing issue for a while. And so what we usually tell people is you're approximately, you know, 5 or 6, but we can't ever get, we actually have to put a disclaimer. We can't guarantee that that's 100% accurate. People get really mad. Who knew? They want to be number 4.
I guess it's good they're passionate about their books, right?
Oh, Kathleen at Circulation could tell you stories. She's like, please no one do that ever again. Because I get chewed out over the phone a lot of times. Like, okay. But I know our librarians always want to, you know, the ones at the reference desk are always wanting to give that information. So, very interesting. But the ebooks works because it's all digital. That's why.
And tell them they're getting warm. They're getting warmer.
Right.
I know, exactly. That's exactly. It's almost here. Anyway.
Well, one thing I want to just, I think, remind ourselves, I believe, that for September, we are not having a joint library meeting.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we'll just have our meeting, assuming same time and place, the third Wednesday of September. So we
Yes.
won't be, I think we decided that a
Mhm.
month ago. Yeah, that is.
And prior to that, of course, I will send you this write-up on the DVD policy and book renewals, and we'll go from there. But if there's anything in the meantime, questions, feedback, interested in some kind of program, let us know. We'd be happy to try to accommodate. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah. So Saturday hours will full Saturday will resume September 19th.
It's not the first one because it's around Labor Day, the following week, because we're trying to schedule that right now.
Do you see? I would like to think any normalcy we can get out of the school year, but typically we have our stay hours, you know, somewhat norm to the school year, not totally, but close to that. Do you anticipate that will happen? Those hours for?
Did you say elongating hours?
And people? No,
Is that what you said?
Evening hours.
Oh,
Right.
evening
So
hours. We have had a couple of people, we've had a couple of people inquire about that. We're trying to do this in little baby steps. And one reason why we're not going full blown to 9 o'clock just yet is because most of our traffic for the later hours is the meeting rooms. And I don't feel comfortable at this time to have meeting rooms packed with people when all of our government meetings, including council and RTM, we're still doing Zoom. I mean, I don't see packing people in.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say.
So in saying that, I'm not sure that we're going late night, but once the Saturdays have been implemented, we're considering, you know, early October to go to at least 7 o'clock at night. So we're inching towards, you know, as we go along, because we also want to see where are we at in October? I mean, so we, little bit at a time, but it's coming. Everything's coming in just baby steps. But
Right.
the only
And
thing I can't,
more to the academic year and the library.
absolutely. The only thing I can't really promise either is Sundays. It's a whole different crew of
Right.
people. And
Right.
so what we're doing with the Saturdays is we're going to try to bring back the substitute librarians that want to come back and try to get them familiar with our Saturday rotations. So then once we're ready for the Sundays, we can add them back in. But it's kind of a hard pill to swallow to put the Sundays back when it's not the union people. It's substitutes, and I don't think that's fair to do, you know. And it's union contracts, so we can't have the union people work on Sundays. So we're hoping, I'm gonna cross my fingers, January, you know, maybe the Sundays, but again, can't promise, depending on what COVID's hopefully gonna die soon, so so we can get back to some normal. But
Well,
again, baby
it's
steps.
colder outside too, as the weather changes, people will be looking to
Right.
find
Yes,
inside places. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right, that's right. And then more people congregate, of course, so
Mhm.
it's an interesting time. So, but yes, all feedback is definitely encouraged. So, you know, there's something that you're thinking about, you know, just send me an email, call me, be happy to address it. So,
Good. Was there anything else before we conclude?
Is the library gonna, are we gonna be a polling place again in November, and how's that gonna work?
we were actually a polling place for the primary on August 11th, I think it was.
Have many people?
It was kind of slow, but again, you know, it's not going to be like the presidential one. But although people are definitely mailing their ballots or dropping them off at the Groton box, the town hall. However, yes, we are going to be a polling place, and it worked out really well. We had the door open on the other side of the meeting room, so there was an in-way and an out-way, so you didn't
Oh,
have to
good.
cross paths.
Mm-hmm.
They came early. They had everything ready to go, set up. Yeah, it worked out no problem. Just as long as we just got to watch it. Even though we've kind of said about capacity being 50, it's a little different because they're going in, doing something and leaving out of the meeting room. So it's not really affecting the flow in the front, you know, the other half of the building.
Okay.
So, yes, it's still happening at the library, yes.
Okay.
Not soon enough.
Not soon enough.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned about the number of people that are going to show up either way, you know, because
No, true.
I counted
No, it's
ballots
true.
for them on primary day, and it was chaos, let's put it that way. And I hope it's better when we get to November.
Yeah, well, you know I had spoken with the town clerk, and yeah, there's a lot of ballots being put in, and it's mind blowing how many have come in, and that was like, I feel like a month or two ago.
Well, they
But,
better come up with a plan on how to count them, because the plan they had for primary day was not good.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it. But again, we will definitely be a polling place, and we're going to make sure we have all, you know, we're pretty aware of what's happening. They've kept us in the loop, which is good. Thank goodness. Sometimes they don't. So, yeah.
For government at work.
Yes. Going to make it work.
Right. What's going on at the senior center? Is that a shutdown as it always looks?
Well, they just had believe it or not, they just had a big luau on Tuesday. They did it outside. They had a really good food options, and they had some dancing, but it was all separated, and they did a really nice job. They're holding Tai Chi classes in the skating rink, and socially distancing everybody for Tai Chi. They're really hoping September is the opening date, and I'm sure it's going to be by appointment. So they're trying to align that, you know, because again, they're reading governor's orders and the senior care centers, you know, I mean, they're the vulnerable population right now, and they're being very cognizant of that. So it's very tough, especially when they're revenue driven, you know. That's really the concern, I believe, at this point. Is how do you
Mhm.
balance that when you can't really hold programs? So they're getting creative. Yeah, good crew over there. We're hopefully going to do some collaborative projects. We already started, but we share the plaza together and we want to do good things together. So we see most of the same people, so that too. Hopefully September.
All right, is there anything else we should discuss? If not, going once, going twice. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Callie. A second. Catherine.
Oof, just disappeared. Okay. I think,
Okay.
Marie, you were like going in and out. Are you all set?
I am. Yep, all set.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I've used my battery power.
Okay. All right. Nice to see you all. I'll talk to you soon and see you next time.
Okay.
Take care.
Thanks so much, Jen.
Bye.
Nice to see
Right.
See you
everyone.
soon. Take care.
Bye-bye all.
Bye.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Rosemary, you have everything?
No, I didn't have any sound.
Okay.
It said you muted me. So
You're muted.
who